right? I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying you have no choice if you want to protect your investment, because Amazon controls everything, and that's what the whole debate is about. And I think people need to think twice before getting involved in something like this, because we live in a day and age where you watch YouTube and everybody's being told that, you know, it's sexy to be an entrepreneur. It somehow gives you power and clout to be a business owner, right? They're not content just being employees. Everybody wants to be the best they can be. So you got people that don't even know how to run a popsicle stand or a lemonade stand, going out starting businesses, and they have no idea how to run it. You know, Amazon says right on its commonly asked. All right, welcome to the Golden Belt Buckle Podcast. As usual, if you like the content you're seeing and hearing, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below, and hit the hype button. I don't ask a lot, but I do appreciate when you subscribe. It's a great encouragement, and it helps me out a lot. And as the channel's growing, I realize more and more the importance of putting out accurate information, or at least trying to get the information as accurate as possible. Sometimes I might be wrong, but if I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong according to the receipts, right? So, with all of that in mind, we're going to talk about today's topic. Today we're going to talk about the DSP program from Amazon. The DSP is a direct service provider. They are the people that drive the minivans directly to your home to drop off the package. So they're the last mile delivery drivers for Amazon. There is a huge controversy around the DSP service right now because I was going to say in both Canada and the U.S., but really Canada's already settled the question. But in the U.S., the question is Amazon and the DSP a distinct employer, or are they co-employers? Is the DSP one employer and Amazon another? Or are they both co-employers of the DSP drivers? And this question is significant because if Amazon and the DSPs are co-employers, that means that if the DSP associates or drivers choose to unionize, Amazon has to honor that. Amazon has to enter into bargaining talks with the unions. If they are not co-employers, then that means if the drivers choose to unionize a DSP, they can do it, but Amazon can cut that DSP off like they would cut off any other contractor, which essentially means if you are a DSP owner and you've put out all that money for your business, all that liability, if your drivers unionize, you are going to be out your entire investment. That's the severity of all of this. So I'm not saying that because I'm against or pro-union. I'm just trying to lay out the facts. So the question we're going to talk about today, kind of apart from that, is it a good idea to become a DSP owner? I don't believe it is, but we'll go into the reasons why. So I'm going to read this from Amazon's website just to get the ball rolling here. So just to give a little bit more information about what the DSP does. When customers make their purchases online, Amazon's people, technology, and operations work together to fulfill their orders. The items are packed at fulfillment centers and then sent to delivery stations. At delivery stations, packages are prepared to be loaded into delivery vehicles, which is where you come in. Each morning, you'll lead your team of delivery associates as they load packages into their vehicles and deliver them to their customer's home. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to get my bullet point conclusions out. Let me back up here, sorry. Where are we at here? Oh, I already have it up. So here's the reasons I don't believe it's a good idea to become a DSP. I wouldn't invest in it. So key bullet points here. Amazon sets all the operational policies that DSP owners must enforce. So you start right there, recognize Amazon butters your bread, okay? Amazon, and when you read into this, you'll find out they set all the rules, okay? If you become a DSP owner, you will do what Amazon tells you to do. They will unilaterally come up with the policies, and you will either choose to follow them, or you will be sitting there with a fleet of vehicles and no contract. So DSPs do not own their vans. They lease them and cannot freely sell or transfer them. So let's suppose you want to get out of the business because maybe you're tired of following Amazon's policies. You don't own the vans. You have nothing to sell. They are leased, and all you have is a contract. And Amazon can veto your sale if they choose to. They can choose to veto who you sell to. They can control who you sell that business to. So you don't even have the power over who and if it can be sold. So Amazon can veto the sale of the business. DSP owners cannot expand operations beyond one territory. If you go into their Q&A, if you choose to get involved in this, you are not allowed to. Let's say you've got they give you a contract for Knoxville, Tennessee. You cannot then turn around and say, I want to expand operations into Chicago. You're not allowed to do that. You are only allowed to operate in one city. So you are also not allowed to have any ownership in any other DSP related businesses. So not only can you not expand within Amazon, you cannot already own a DSP elsewhere for a different style business and then take your transportation knowledge and then say, I want to expand into Amazon. I want to have an Amazon division. You're not allowed to do that. Amazon wants you in one city with one business, totally reliant upon Amazon, who calls all the shots. And not only are they going to call the shots, but they also actively try to recruit your drivers to become future DSPs. So I was reading one report. This driver said they went to a conference of DSP owners, and in this conference they had a bunch of future DSPs, which were drivers who determined they wanted to become DSPs, and this DSP felt that the only reason those drivers were there, or those future DSPs were there, was so Amazon could send a message to the current DSPs, you are replaceable. It says right in Amazon's Q&A that the DSP program is highly competitive. That is a red flag. If you're looking through that is a red flag, because that is Amazon letting you know, if you're paying attention, you're easily replaceable. There's a lot of people that want to do what you're doing. Okay, so and they what this contention is that they showcase these future DSPs to the current DSPs, so the current DSPs know you better not get out of line. So Amazon can cut DSP routes at any time, removing revenue instantly. Amazon can increase. So the next couple reasons are kind of bunched together. So they can cut your routes at any time. They can increase inspections and ground your vans and disrupt your operations. So if, let's say, your drivers choose to unionize and they succeed in unionizing, Amazon has a way of dealing with you. They will not only cut your contract rate out eventually, get rid of you as a contractor, but they'll harass you. They'll cut your routes. They'll increase inspections just to make your life miserable, and they will starve you, the DSP, out by grounding your vehicles, taking away your revenue. Kind of like they're punishing you, right? Ultimately to get rid of you. And who are they going to replace you with? One of the DSPs that they showcased at their little convention. Right? One of the future DSPs. They're going to be the ones to take the contract from you. So if you read about the battle-tested solutions, I think it is, there was a case in California. They did succeed in unionizing, and that's exactly what Amazon did to them. They ended up cutting their contract right out. They grounded their vehicles, they harassed them, they held captive audience meetings, they called it, where they were telling them why they, I don't know, what this was leading up to the unionization, why you better not do it or you're not going to have a job, right? If you are the owner and your drivers choose to unionize, you are going to lose your investment. That's what it sounds like, right? So DSP owners carry full liability, payroll insurance, accidents, without any real control. Amazon holds full operational control, routing, metrics, training, compliance. Now, Amazon, so basically you are the legal entity that owns this business, but Amazon runs it. They tell you how to run everything. In fact, the complaint that the drivers, it wasn't one of the drivers, it's another article I was reading about drivers, they tell the drivers what they can even post on social media. They give them instructions on proper hygiene. They give them their uniforms. They give them their computers. They run everything. They tell the driver where they're going to run. They tell them how much they're going to be paid, how long their shift is going to be, when their shift is going to be. Amazon runs the show. As a DSP owner, you just own the business. Amazon runs it, right? You take the liability. Amazon tells you how it's going to be. So in conclusion, DSP owners have all the risk and responsibility with none of the typical business freedom. So again, rehash, you can't expand, you can't be involved in any other business, any other DSP business. They're going to try and poach your drivers from you, showcase them, create an endless pipeline of drivers that can replace you at any time. You're more or less an operations officer. You're an operations officer that bought themselves a job, right? And that's at least the conclusion I'm drawing. So is it a good idea? I wouldn't do it, but if I did do it, here's what I would do. If I was going to be a DSP owner contrary to what Amazon says, how that you got to be a good coach, right? They want you to be a good coach to your drivers, good leader. I'm going to make being a DSP sound so difficult that you got to be a rocket scientist to do it, because that's my investment, right? I don't want my drivers to try and steal my investment. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying I'm pro-union or not pro-union. Unions do a lot of good for us, okay? I'm just saying, if I was the one owning the DSP, I would never forget Amazon is my sole provider. Amazon butters my bread. I'm going to quietly try to be a union buster, right? I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to have my ear to the ground. I'm going to make sure nobody tries to organize a union if I'm the owner, because it's my investment. And I'm going to make it sound like it's so difficult that nobody wants to do it, because it's in my interest for my drivers to think of themselves as too stupid to run a business, right? You have no choice, right? And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying you have no choice if you want to protect your investment, because Amazon controls everything, and that's what the whole debate is about. And I think people need to think twice before getting involved in something like this, because we live in a day and age where you watch YouTube and everybody's being told that, you know, it's sexy to be an entrepreneur. It somehow gives you power and clout to be a business owner, right? They're not content just being employees. Everybody wants to be the best they can be. So you got people that don't even know how to run a popsicle stand or a lemonade stand going out starting businesses, and they have no idea how to run it. You know, Amazon says right on its commonly asked questions, I think it's on its frequently asked questions page, it doesn't require you to have any logistics experience to be running one of these, right? They just think you should have good team building skills. Well, if I considering all we've talked about here, it's no wonder you don't need to have experience. I suspect Amazon wants you to be a little bit naive as well, right? They don't want you to be a good business person, because if you were a good business person, you probably wouldn't put yourself in such a stranglehold. So that's my opinion on all of this. I'm not saying unions are good. I'm not saying unions are bad. I'm just saying this is how I would behave if I was one of these owners. I wouldn't do it anyways. It just sounds like too big of a risk. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Am I out to lunch? If you're a DSP, let me know. I know not every experience is bad. Let me know. Have you had a good experience, a bad experience? Let me know. Anyway, till next time, cheers. Keep the rubber side down.